What's up, everybody? John Hoover, AllSooners, along with Ryan Chapman, Randall Sweet. We're at the stadium. We're at the Suites. We're breaking down the Brent Venables press conference, special Halloween edition. He did not dress up today. I was kind of hoping he would, but got a big game this week. It could be scary. We'll put it that way since it's Halloween. Could be scary going to Stillwater. A lot of orange and black up there. They're going to keep the vibe going because the Cowboys have won 4 in a row. They're 5-2, 6-2 on the season. Ever since that loss to South Alabama, loss to Iowa State, they've come back. As Ryan said, they're 4-0 on the bounce. So that's 4 straight. Hey, listen, Cowboys got a lot going on. Cowboys got a lot of good things happening right now, including arguably the best running back in the country. They've figured out they've stopped running 3 quarterbacks out there every game. They now have 1 quarterback that they've settled on. And look at that. You play the best running back and you play the best quarterback, you can see, guys, what's happening. 2:30 p.m. ABC. Guys, this is it. I don't know what the number is. 91, 19, and 7. So do the math yourself. 118th Bedlam. And it's the last one. I don't know what to do with myself. No more Bedlam football? Ryan, how do you feel emotionally about no more Bedlam football?
How do I feel? Just fine. How does Brent Venables feel? He doesn't want to go down memory lane.
Right.
He doesn't. For him, it's a big game because it's the next game, and that's what he talked about today. He was asked about Bedlam memories, and he did recall the 2003 goal line stand. He pointed out to the south end zone. He's like, Les Miles is down here, all that stuff.
Let it rip.
Yeah, but basically, Brent Venables is like, this is a big game because Oklahoma State has 1 loss in Big 12 play. Oklahoma has 1 loss in Big 12 play. That was echoed last night. Deshaun McCall was like, yeah, it's a big game, but we prepared every game like it's a big game, and there's all the rivalry. All the captains are from the state of Oklahoma. There was no, like, trying to downplay it's just any other game. But as far as the last Bedlam or any of that, Brent Venables is taking kind of the same tact when you ask him a ton of big-picture questions, which is just, they don't ask me above my pay grade. That was kind of the vibe you got from him today, and something that it just won't be on the schedule next year. You'll have to go to Auburn instead, I guess, to get your fix of orange.
Listen, if they prepared the same way, Randall, this week that they prepared last week and the week before, when they laid egg against UCF and they laid an egg and got an L against Kansas, Oklahoma State's going to beat them because Oklahoma State, as I mentioned, has one of the best running backs in the country and an offensive line that apparently means business.
Yeah, I mean, we talked for the past 2 weeks about, how explosive and tricky the Kansas and the UCF offense were. Well, now you've got an offense with a running back that's even better than both of the guys that you saw last week against Kansas and both of any running back that UCF has. So Ollie Gordon averaging almost 8 yards per carry this season, over 1,000 yards already. I think 975 yards in the past 5 games. Gone over 250 yards, I think 2 games in a row. I mean, he is on an absolute tear, unlike anything we've seen in a while from a running back in the Big 12 Conference. I mean, Oklahoma is going to have their hands full with him, and that offensive line, as we've mentioned, that they've been playing really, really well in the past 5 games. Brent Venables even praised them. He praised how well their tight ends have been blocking, saying those guys are really physical. And so that rushing attack, the offensive line, the tight ends, Ollie Gordon himself, those guys are really going to test Oklahoma's defensive line, those linebackers. We'll see how those guys play this week after, again, a shaky performance last week against Kansas and 2 weeks ago against UCF.
Yeah, not only are they blocking for Ollie Gordon in the run game, 285 and I think 272 are his totals in the last 2 games on the ground. A few weeks ago, he had well over 150 rushing and 150 receiving, I think, in that area. So he's at 300 yards. Basically almost 300 for the last 3 games in a row. We're talking about total offense or all-purpose yards there in the passing game. He is going to be difficult to stop, and it's not the best case scenario for Oklahoma to have to stop him without their best defensive player.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of piling up injuries. Gentry Williams, Brent Venables said on Monday night, returned to practice, but the questions are all surrounding Danny Stutzman. We saw him pretty much land on another player, roll his ankle against Kansas. He tried to come back in that 3rd quarter, played 1 snap, took himself out, said he couldn't give it a go. Brent Venables today said Danny Stutzman's telling him he's good, but essentially that's something they're going to have to see. The exact phrase, game time decision, wasn't said. but that is what Danny Stutzman is based off Brent Venables' evaluation today. So you're looking to hoping that Danny Stutzman is there, but if not, you're going to have to bounce back with a Kip Lewis or a Kobe McKenzie. Both of those guys had to step in, played a lot in not just the second half, but that whole game in Lawrence as Jaron Kanek struggled to tackle yet again. And Brent Venables said he was very, very happy with what Kip Lewis has done and Kobe McKenzie both. Not just stepping in and playing, but also if Danny Stutzman's gone, those guys are going to have to get that defense lined up, the defensive line specifically, something that cannot happen against Ollie Gordon because Ollie Gordon's so decisive. He hits the hole, he goes. If you're not lined up correctly, if you're not in the right spot, Oklahoma will pay. So Danny Stutzman, game time decision, something that you're going to be looking forward to or circling in the pregame, as well as another guy, not defensive, but on the offense, Tawi Walker, the only running back who's looked really consistent at multiple times this year. He's going to be a game-time decision for that Oklahoma offense as well, it sounds like. He said same deal as Danny Stutzman. Brent Venables did it on Tuesday.
Hard to complain about a season-high rushing, 89 yards, something like that last week at Kansas. Hard to complain about 146 career high for Tawi Walker on 23 carries. But you saw a lot of conservative play calling on the part of Jeff Lebby, whether it was 3rd and 6, quarterback draw, trying to get to a 4th down, or you're trying to wind the clock in the final minutes, and you're basically almost taking a knee on 3 straight plays, except you're handing off, which is even more dangerous, right? You're not burning any time. Brent Venables got some questions today about conservative play calling, about Jeff Lebby's lack of favoritism with the fans. Ollie Gordon's you can count on Ollie Gordon and Alan Bowman to probably put up some points against this Oklahoma defense. Conservative play calling, Randall, is not going to do it for Oklahoma this time.
No, and as you mentioned, to keep up with Ollie Gordon, Brennan Presley, the rest of that Oklahoma State offense, the Sooners are going to have to, be willing to throw the ball and throw the ball more downfield this week. Brent Venables talked about taking some more of those deep shots. He mentioned some of the receivers that have been kind of picking up the slack in Andrell Anthony's absence and things like that. But as you mentioned, the Sooners will have to attack downfield. They can't be conservative this weekend against the Cowboys. The weather should be a lot warmer, less rain than there was in Kansas, so it bodes well for Dylan Gabriel, for the Sooners offense to, the climate bodes well for them to take more of those deep shots. We'll see if Jeff Lebby and company dial it up, but I would expect after last week they're going to be less cautious.
I listened to the Oklahoma Breakdown podcast, and I think Gabe Eichert broke down the numbers. Threw down the field 10 yards or more 2 times over the first 75 plays of the game last week at Kansas. And then, of course, had to throw deep a couple of times on the final drive as they're trying to march down. Yeah, that's not going to get it done. So we're going to get out of here. Bedlam, 2:30 p.m. ABC, if you're not going to the game, which we heard is sold out, I believe.
Yes.
Supposed to be, like Kansas was sold out last week with about 4,000 empty seats.
The Cowboys fans will actually be in those seats this week. It's not going to be a Kansas sellout.
They'll be yelling.
Exactly. It's going to be loud. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be the last Bedlam. And you can stick here at AllSooners.com to find your coverage all week long. Brent Venables' press conference, the video, our assessment of it, our analysis, stuff from last night's player interviews. Unfortunately, we can't get Jeff Lebby and Ted Roof. Those days are gone, but we'll try to get them after the game because we're going to be at the game in Stillwater all day on Saturday. Keep it right here at AllSooners.com. For Ryan, for Randall, I'm John Hoover. See you guys.